Hello everyone, Ash Manson here. I made my return to YouTube after quite a long time away to basically lay out the case as to why I think Joe Biden needs to drop out of the presidential race. And now today, it is now Sunday, July 21st. The president has formally announced that he will not be accepting the Democratic nomination for president. I am very, very encouraged by this news. He's actually doing the right thing. Basically, what the reason why he needed to drop out of this race is because it had become very evident to the American public that he was declining cognitively. The man is 81 years old. That kind of comes with the territory. I would make a pretty strong argument that Donald Trump is also declining cognitively, but you know what? We're not going to talk about him. If you don't already understand that Donald Trump is the absolute worst, there's probably nothing I can say at this point to convince you. So why is this such a big deal? Well, I was saying first, the corpse of Joe Biden. In my last video, I said they could pull a weekend at Bernie's and the corpse of Joe Biden would be a better president for the United States than Donald Trump, because you don't, I understand if you watched the debate and you saw the old guy, well, they're both old guy, but the Democratic old guy up there rambling, struggling to put a sentence together, and you were like, this guy can't do the job. That doesn't mean that you vote for somebody to do a fundamentally different job. And as I detailed, I'll only briefly mention it in this video. You can watch the other one if you'd like. You've seen Project 2025 and Agenda 47, which is formally Trump's plan for his second term in office where he elected. That is some scary shit. You don't vote for a fascist because one guy is old. That's just... There is no way you can rationalize that. If you are a sane, critically thinking human being, there's just no good faith argument to vote for Donald Trump because Biden's old and declining. And why is that? Because presidents don't rule the world. Presidents appoint a cabinet. They have handlers. They aren't the ones writing the legislation. More than anything, presidents are communicators. It just so happens right now that Joe Biden, due to his sharp decline, is not a very good communicator. So where does that leave us? Well, in Biden's statement, I saw a few of the online pundits pointed out right away that he didn't explicitly endorse Kamala Harris, just thanked her for his service, but he did go on later to formally endorse Kamala Harris. I saw Maxwell Frost, representative from my state of Florida, who is more on the progressive side, also endorsed Kamala Harris. What I'm hoping this means is that the entire Democratic Party is going to coalesce behind Kamala Harris. Now, is she my first pick as a candidate? Hell no. There's a lot of things the fact that she is so tied to the Biden administration, when the Biden administration is complicit in the genocide in Gaza, and there's the narrative around Bidenflation that Kamala might inherit a little bit of the stink from. It's a totally false narrative, but Americans are not smart enough to understand nuance. That's just the way things are. And again, that's why it's so important that Biden drops out. Because while me and other critical thinkers can, articulate why a president, even if he is even if he's not totally in control of his faculties, that is just kind of a milquetoast conservative Democrat, is exponentially better than a fascist, even if he's got all of his faculties about him. But you can't trust the American public to understand that. You have to be able to meet them where they are. You have to be able to communicate with them. Is Kamala Harris the greatest communicator? Not exactly, but she is one hell of a lot better than the sitting president. All right, so what is Kamala Harris or whoever the Democratic nominees, like, what is their path to actually securing the nomination? Well, we did technically have a Democratic primary. I know they essentially canceled it in certain states, like my state of Florida. They didn't even let other candidates' name on the ballot, and that's not a good look when you're supposedly the party of democracy. But the fact of the matter is, Joe Biden does have pledged delegates, and as far as I know, and I don't know, I won't pretend to understand every little intricacy of this, but as far as I know, like, if he is not there to accept the nomination, the delegates are technically free to vote for whoever they wish, which technically opens up the possibility that there could be like an open convention at the primary. I saw political pundits like Cenk Uygur especially and Kyle Kulinski from Secular Talk also like kind of endorsing the idea of an open primary. I'm going to give my case why I don't necessarily think that is the best way to go. You know, of course, I love the idea of democracy. This would have been wonderful to have, like, back when the primary was actually supposed to happen. But we have 4 months, and I think the best thing to do would be for anyone who does not want to see a second Donald Trump term to solidly get behind a candidate. And I know it sucks, as somebody who leans progressive, I don't necessarily... I'm not too excited about the idea of a Kamala Harris presidency, but it really felt like we could see the iceberg that was the Donald Trump second term coming, and we saw just Biden white-knuckling it in the face of all the criticism, saying, I'm staying in this race. Like, while he looked like he was actively dying on camera. So the fact that he is, like, stepping aside at least, like, gives me the indication that we're going to fight to stave off a second Trump presidency. And I think there's certain reasons, like, well, there's certain things that I don't think look optically the greatest if, like, the Democratic establishment was to just put Kamala Harris to the side. You don't really want the optics of telling the black woman that she's not the next up when she's the vice president of the United States. And another thing about that is, like, you know how the Republicans are going to attack her. They're going to call her a DEI hire. That's their new racist trope. Like, the very thin veil they put over their racism. It used to be critical race theory. Now it's DEI. And it's one of those things where you just say that you're against it. Like, you say you're against woke. You say you're against critical race theory. You say you're against diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like, that in and of itself should tell you exactly who these people are. But they're just somehow, like, with their, like, coordinated messaging campaign, they're able to sanitize these very, very racist terms. It's like, no. We're not actually racist. We just want the most qualified person to be hired regardless of their ethnicity. And, you know, again, critical thinkers know, yeah, they're just sanitizing racism. But I don't think the American people want to hear that. Well, there's some people who want to hear that, and that's the, like, 30% of people that are just locked in on Donald Trump and are going to vote for him no matter what he says. He could get on the news and, you know, drop the N-word 10 times consecutively with a hard R, and there's 30% of the country that would vote for him, even if he goes and shoots someone on Fifth Avenue. Again, the most honest thing that he has ever said, and he just won't lose roughly about a third of this country. And as sad as that is, like I said, if you haven't realized how terrible Trump is, there's no convincing you. You're just gone. You might be a rational person in every other facet of your life, but in this specific aspect, you are just out to lunch, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. There's no, like, reaching you. But I feel there is like a portion of this population that we can reach. If Kamala comes out and gives a great press conference, if Biden comes out and gives his unequivocal endorsement of her, she makes a great speech, the party lines up, we have a chance. Like, and again, I say we, like I wouldn't consider myself a Democrat, I'm a progressive. Like, first and foremost, I have very, very serious problems with the Democratic Party, but I mean, those of us who don't want to see a second Trump term actually have a chance. And that's the overwhelming, like, the message, the feeling that I have that I want to convey is Biden stepping aside actually means we have a chance. Finally, good news. I mean, what passes for good news in our incredibly far-right country? I think I'll probably be on here a little bit more because of all these important things happening in the news and politics lately. So I look forward to talking to you guys again. If you got this far, go ahead, drop me a like and subscribe if you like what I'm saying, or if you just want to call me an evil commie, Antifa, socialist, that's cool too. Do whatever you want to do. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.